and managing the transition. The reason that it's important because how you manage the transition will determine when you come out of the transition and how you come out of the transition. It's very important. But when you go back to when the children of Israel, it was a couple days journey, but it ended up being 40 years in the wilderness. You know, they managed that transition. They was managing from where they were to going into the promised land. So in between time, in the meantime, they was doing a bunch of murmuring and complaining and just being ungrateful in their position and where they were at the time. And so therefore, a couple days journey, because you can go back and read the scriptures. It was literally, the scripture says it was a couple days journey, but it turned into 40 years. They mismanaged the transition. And so what you don't want to do is while you're in transition, you don't want to have the wrong attitude, you don't want to have the wrong attitude, and you don't want to have the wrong activity. Yeah. Because in between those times, you want to make sure that those things stay standardized. If you continue to walk into a place of excellence, continue to have good character, to continue to don't lose heart, and to put yourself in a position to keep your battery charged even when it's low. So all of this stuff is very important in managing the transition, because once again, it's going to be very important how you manage that, because it's going to determine when you come out and even how you come out.
The B2S Podcast is brought to you by Motivated Apparel. Motivated Apparel, the premier gear for motivation. A brand that motivates, inspires, and empowers you to stay motivated while chasing your dreams. Head on over to www.shiftmotivations.com/shop Motivated Apparel and grab yourself some Motivated Apparel today.
Hey, yo, what up, world? What it do? Hey, welcome to another episode of the Blueprint to Success podcast. Once again, Blueprint Nation, stand up. We are excited and delighted to be with you guys on tonight. Once again, thank y'all for tuning in and rocking with the fellas. We really love y'all and appreciate y'all. We thank y'all for the support and the love, man. We are excited to bring y'all another live one on tonight. And another midweek session on the rise. Here we go again with another session for you guys on tonight. So we're going to go ahead and get the preliminaries out of the way like we always say, man. What's up, everybody? This your boy, Mike Mariner, a.k.a. Shift Motivator. And this brother's on my left, your right. Mr. Dumbo. Mr. Now Throne Room.
Yeah, Throne Room is out right now. Go ahead, do your thing, Mike. I'm sorry.
Y'all give it up for my brother from another mother, man. Y'all give it up for Alexander Hall. Go ahead, tell him, man. Go ahead.
Throne Room is out right now, produced by Dominant Certifico. Shoutside Kingdom Revival Records, man. Singles got some good traction. People are responding to it very well. They're liking the message and things like that. Shouts out to North Cape Studios. Thank you, Diamond. It's always good to be connected with people who allow you to exercise your gifts and stuff like that. So collaboration, like being being a songwriter, you know what I mean, me being a creator in that aspect. Diamond giving me the opportunity to work with him to create music for the kingdom. So shouts out to Diamond and shouts out to Kingdom Revival. Throne Room is out right now. Go buy it, go copy it, listen to it, do whatever to it, man.
Stream it.
Yeah, everything
Put it
to
on
it,
your
man.
playlist.
Yo, we want you to buy it. We want you to
North
buy
Cape,
it.
we are
On
The way.
for sure.
straight like that.
No chaser.
Shouts out to my dog Stitch too. Stitch coming.
Yo, I can't wait to hear his stuff.
Yeah, Stitch fireman. Stitch, the young boy, man. He on it.
How old is he?
Stitch now Stitch is 18, just turned 18. So we started rocking. He was like 16, 15, 16. So he been doing his thing. So me and him got a few tracks lined up.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? He just a young believer, hungry, hungry for the word. He's disciplined, and he is a good example of what it looks like when a young person continuously submits themselves to the Lord. So, shout out to the big homie Stitch, man, for sure.
And that's what's up, man.
For real.
Yes, sir. Y'all know who this brother is once again. He ain't no stranger to the camera or the
Never.
radio.
Never.
He's on my right, your left.
Mr. Big Screen.
Mr. Big Screen.
Mr. Big Screen.
Mr. Big Bag.
Mr. Big Bag.
Mr. Big Dub.
Mr. Big Dog.
Mr. Always Got It.
Mrs. Bag on the way.
Anything
Mrs.
got, I
Bag
go get it.
on the
Waiting on. Straight like that. But y'all give it up for my brother from the same mother,
This
man.
my
Give it up
brother.
for boy one.
What's going on, Blueprint Nation? It's going down today. You know what I'm saying?
My boy is single and ready to mingle.
Lisa. Lisa. Hello, how are you? The king is here.
Bug like a dog.
Listen. The red carpet is on the way.
For sure.
Straight like that.
Yeah.
No, but man, doing good, man. Getting ready to hit the road. So by the time this air, we'll be in Georgia and Alabama. You know, we got the two shows, two cities, one weekend.
Hey.
So I'm looking forward to that, and you know, spending time with the bros, and it's gonna be a good time, man. Ain't nothing like a road trip, you know.
Yeah, Mike, look, I told him, I say he got to chill out when he in Alabama. You know them red bones up there, Mr. Bag up there waiting for him.
Red.
I love you too. Why you playing?
Hey, what was that? What was that? He was saying that the same thing. But he was like, no, I can't wait, man. It's gonna be magical, you know. And I'm talking about when I meet Mrs. Big Bag. Yes. But all is well, man. Doing that, and then of course, you know, Love and Loyalty out right now.
Yeah.
And man, I'm excited. Got my bro on there.
Yeah, I bet the text y'all, man. That's my favorite track.
What's that?
The one y'all did.
I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my favorite track.
That's one of my.
I got it on repeat right now.
That was definitely one of my favorites.
That's my top right there.
I was like, that.
Yeah, y'all and Rick, y'all killed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rick a monster, man.
He is a beast, bro.
Yeah.
He a monster, bro. Like,
Yeah.
he been in the studio. He got the same temperament. He don't switch up.
In the words of Rick, for real.
For real. I was like, Rick, you on live? He said, for real. That's not an answer.
For real. Man, Rick be so chill, man, at the crib. We'll just chop up in the living room. We're watching, you know, different shows, but TV watching us, we just get to talking. He was like, yeah, for real. Love you, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, yeah, man, it's gonna be good, man, and it's like you just know, bro. It's just one of the ones, dog. Like, no, you got to jump. He's like, I ain't trying to get it. I said, bro, shut up. You getting on the record? I'm snatching you off to put you on.
Yeah, that joint slide.
I tried to get off the hook in the studio. I was like, man, I thought I heard how great Rick can sing. I said, bro, just put Rick. I said, bro, just take me off the.
No.
Nah, that was a perfect blend. Like your sound,
You needed that,
and his sound, and then dub sound. Yeah, that was a perfect blend for that song.
For sure.
We needed that.
Yeah, now that one you acknowledged did slide too.
That's no next.
Yeah, that one you acknowledged did. Yeah, that jump slide too.
I told Knowledge, I said, hey, bro, any verse you do from now on, I'm biased right now. This is my favorite verse from you. Indeed. Love you too, bro. Love all the bros.
Oh man, oh my Jesus,
Yes.
Jesus Christos.
Jesus Christus.
But nah, both of y'all got some good product out there, man. Good stuff to vibe too.
Yeah, we got more coming down the pipe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, are y'all still working on the compilation?
Yeah. Yeah, that's we got bruh, this record called The Squad. You gonna love.
That sound like a banger.
Bruh. Ooh, it is. It is.
Man, I played that. That's gonna be my anthem for the program I'm putting together.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish I knew how to clear it so that we won't get flagged when I use it in my videos.
Mm-hmm.
The 116 Man Up. I played that at where was I? And I played that. Oh, for Men's Night. We had our first Men's Night a couple weeks ago. And so, I just turned the sound on, put some music on so we can vibe to it. I said, well, it's Men's Night. So let me throw something a little different up in there. So I said, I got something to put that man up on. Boy, I said, bro, who this? I said, oh man, that's old. I said, that's so actually I didn't realize it was a whole album. I thought it was just a single.
Yeah,
so I just pumped the whole album and let it ride. But that Man Up though, that anthem, boy, that ride with all them guys on it, that slide.
Bruh, well, they had came. I remember when they came to Orlando at the conference and they did that John. Bruh, it was so packed there.
Yeah,
it was packed.
Look, Cranium.
They did. This was when Kingdom Promotions was huge.
Yeah.
I do remember Kingdom Promotions. Yeah.
So they brought them in, and then, bruh, like it was so packed.
Yeah. It's called Man Up, bro. That just slide. Like you listen to it, like it's old, but it's so new. It just it slides. So I'm actually
timeless.
I'm actually going to use that as the anthem for the mentorship program.
I got you.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, man, I wish I knew who to get in contact with to clear it, because I want to do when we do commercials and ads and stuff like that for it. That's that's the anthem. So that jump, it's perfect. It's perfect. Man. It slide too. That jump slides. The bass line in that joke, what?
It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm still getting acclimated to a lot of Christian hip hop because I really don't. I mean, I know, of course, you know 1K Few. I seen a good portion of his journey when, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Of course,
I'm
from Tampa, so you already know we rock with KB. We rock with Loso, you know what I'm saying? We're getting the boys from the Bay, you know what I'm saying? You rock with, Zanti. I mean, of course, I know them, but a lot of other artists, I'm still getting acclimated to some of the old stuff, some of the... Because I was, Saint tried to snatch me out when he found out I could rap. Oh, well, let me slide you to him. So I was on secular music for a long time. Like I know all them AZ, KRS-One, you know what I mean, Camouflage, like on all them boys. But Christian hip hop world, I'm still digging through the crates with some of the old, some of the people who really got it cracking. You feel me? So
I got you. I got a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Like I heard one of Bizzle old songs. Like, is Bizzle? Like, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he got music for days too.
Yeah,
he got it for a little minute. His stuff slide too. So I try to, and then because I work a lot with young people, so I try to navigate sounds. So it's like, okay, they listen to this. Who can I kind of slide their way? They kind of got the same cadence. Sound like whatever. It's like when I do the during football season, when I do the once a week mentorship thing with the team, so I created like a mix, and coach was like, "Hey, bro, send me that mix." So I was like, he said, "Yeah, that's something I can when I got the kids around, I can bump to." He said, "I like it too, but so it's like I try to listen to different sounds. Like, okay, well, they sound like. This is what they listen to, so it's kind of similar, so to kind of plug that in. So it makes a difference, man.
It do.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah, so I know, well, if we go ahead and dive into the next topic, man. So I know the last couple of weeks, we have been talking about pivot behind the scenes. So Blueprint Nation, if you missed it, go back 2 weeks. By the time this airs, it'll actually be 3 weeks. So if you go back 3 weeks, and it's the pivot, knowing when to shift gears. But us three, we've been talking about this for couple weeks now for a little bit. So the conversation actually is a little bit longer than what you guys have been accustomed to listening to. So tonight's going to kind of be, we're going to kind of circle back, but kind of like in a different manner. So what we're going to be talking about tonight is like knowing how to manage the transition. So we're going to be talking about managing the transition to where it's like, when you feel like you in a place, you transitioning, like you may have peaked at your job, or certain relationships just don't serve your purpose and where you are mentally, socially right now as an individual, and so you find yourself drifting, and you may not even know what you're drifting to, but you know that you're growing and you're drifting and you're transitioning to a place, but you haven't actually transitioned to that place, but you're transitioning. So we're going to be talking about managing the transitions on tonight. So why is it important in managing the transition? The reason that it's important because how you manage the transition will determine when you come out of the transition and how you come out of the transition. It's very important because one of the things, when you go back, I'm going to take you to the good book. When you go back to when the children of Israel, it was a couple of days journey, but it ended up being 40 years in the wilderness. They managed that transition wrong. Because they was managing from where they were to going into the promised land. So in the meantime, they was doing a bunch of murmuring and complaining and just being ungrateful in their position and where they were at the time. And so therefore, a couple of days journey, because you can go back and read the scriptures, it was literally, the scripture says it was a couple of days journey, but it turned into 40 years. They mismanaged the transition. And so what you don't want to do is while you're in transition and you don't want to have the wrong attitude, you don't want to have the wrong attitude and you don't want to have the wrong activity.
Yeah.
Because in between those times, you want to make sure that those things stay standardized. If you continue to walk into a place of excellence, continue to have good character, to continue to don't lose heart and to put yourself in a position to keep your battery charged even when it's low. So all of this stuff is very important in managing the transition because once again, it's going to be very important how you manage that because it's going to determine when you come out and even how you come out. Because when you come out, you want to come out prosperous, you want to come out successful, you don't want to come out broke, busted, and disgusted. Yeah. So at the end of the day, you want to be able to come out and having to show something for the transition that you was in because you should be able to take something out of that transition that's going to catapult you on the next level and where you're going. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the floor with that, guys, and y'all can go ahead and chime in before we start going into notes and all that type of stuff. So if you want to just kind of lay some stuff out on the table.
You know what? I remember when we was talking about certain things that transpire where you asked the question like, how do you know that it's time to pivot or it's time to transition into what you're going into? And it was one thing that just came to mind while you was talking. Another thing that was I knew that it was time to transition and shift was I was getting moody a lot too. And I wasn't really never a moody type of person.
Right. No,
you know what I'm saying?
Crazy, but not moody.
Yeah. It's different. I promise y'all, my brother's talking me off the edge. I promise you.
He crazy. He gone.
He crazy. He crazy. But I noticed I was moody within the transition, and if it wasn't for my brothers and my close circle, man, it's just like it gave me a reset. It gave me a fresh and a renew because it's like, oh man,
there goes that word again.
Yeah,
Pastor been on it for the last month. Boy,
yeah,
he set the church off with it too, boy. Whew. I had to throw that. That word, baby. Yeah, that word, man. That's been a word that's in my space.
What word?
Reset.
Oh man, that's a powerful thing. But
it is.
Yeah. Let's just talk. We start going down that.
No. We going there.
It actually all ties in.
It does.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah,
it ties in because I foresaw what I would have been.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Like I knew if I stayed here longer than I needed to, they were gonna get a distorted version of me.
Mm-hmm.
they were going to get an unfaithful version of me, an inconsistent version of me, and a moody version of me. And if it wasn't for y'all like really just speaking the words and even in like how you said with managing the transitions, you have to manage and shift your ear too. And that's not easy. Because the carnal is way up here, the spirit's down here. You gotta kind of, it's like that balance the scale.
Balance beam,
that balance beam. You gotta like, okay. Yeah. Let me. It's like a mixing board. Let me just bring everything neutral, everything zeroed out, reset. Let me kind of, so I can know what I need to hear, what sounds good. Not only what sounds good and feels good, but what is good.
Keep going.
He's shaking his head.
This gonna be one, boy. Y'all buckle up, boy. This gonna be a good one, cause
dude,
he going through the roof, and this one over here digging in his bag. So he done brought out the good book, so I already know, boy. This finna be a power hour on the night.
It really is, and it's a part of leadership.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't get to walk away. You don't get to pick how you feel in the transition of things. You don't get to sit with I don't care attitude.
You sound like Pastor Lynn. Boy, you as a leader, boy, you don't get to have a bad day,
bro. I'm telling you,
man.
So it's like that reset is necessary for managing the transitions, because if not, you're going to continue to use those same settings through the next course of 3-4 transitions. And it's going to distort and it's going to make everything haywire. That's why when I say LAD, organized chaos, that's what I mean by that. It's chaotic, but I'm organizing in my chaos so I don't become chaotic. So, dang, you done sparked something, bro. So
but they go back because like I say, man, if y'all ever get a chance, go back and listen to because usually Pastor Lynn do Bible study, but you know he'll sprinkle, you know, depending upon what they got going on personally, he'll chime in or whatever. So if you go back and look at probably like the last 4 weeks, and between Sundays and Tuesdays. Like real talk. So because I mean, like when you look at like reset, let's kind of tie this all together, right? Reset is you bringing something back to its original state. And so when you look at how things transpired, because Adam, make me go there. So Adam and Eve was not the first people on the face of the earth. So if God told them to replenish. Then what are they going to replenish if they was the first one still? First of all. So
that's crazy.
When you look at how the Bible says that they were formed in the garden. So creation starts in the mind first, right? So nothing gets formed until hands get put to the plow. So
Thanks.
They were created in the mind of God, but then they was formed in the image of God. So now God created them. Okay, let us make man in our own image. All right. So creation was already there. So, but formation wasn't. So a couple chapters over, now they are forming man out of the dust of the ground. So when you look at the word Adam, which is pronounced kind of like Adam, it's mankind. It ain't man. It's man and woman, both.
Right.
Yes.
So when he created, that's why it says male and female, he created them. So when Adam was created, actually, Eve was actually created within Adam, but Eve had to be pulled out of Adam. So that way they can be two separate beings. And then, of course, God breathed the breath of life into Adam, he became a living soul, blah, blah, blah. So we know that story, right? So now, but here's the thing. Adam was placed in the garden, right? So now he's placed in the place in the garden. So it's Chaos around. So that's where I kind of look. You look at it, it's chaos around. So God is like, okay, let me reset this thing. Because these people just ain't, they ain't whatever. So now let me reform this image to redeem mankind, knowing that I'm going to have to redeem that situation too.
Yep.
So now Adam gets these instructions that says you can eat from any tree out of this garden except for the tree of knowledge of good and evil.
Except that one.
Except that one right there. So now, long story short, we all know the story. They both partake of the fruit. Henceforth, fall of man. So now there's another reset. So that's why there was a lamb slain before the foundation of the world, because God knew that there was going to be a reset.
Yep.
But in order for the reset to happen, that reset had to go back and bring things back to the original state in which it was created for. However, in order for us to get back to that, basically that heavenly state, that heavenly being, because when the Garden of Eden is place of paradise.
Right.
So in order for us to get back to that place of paradise, we have to fight for it. Where you didn't have to fight for it. You just existed there. God, you and God in presence, peace. He was just there. Just obey me. I'm here. So now you disobey God. So you go out of the place of instruction. So now there's another set of chaos that you bring into your life that wasn't meant for you to be there. And so now there has to be a reset. So now you have to learn things all over again, because now you're thrown into a situation to where you have to learn how to manage that situation.
Yeah.
Feel me? Make sense? So now it's a lot of resetting going on. So where now I have to come in and I have to learn how to operate in another place of chaos, where I didn't have to do that, but because of my, man's fault and disobedience, now I have to go through all this place again. So now we come back, we fast forward to our life. So now we're learning how to manage chaos. We're learning how to manage seasons. We're learning how to manage moments. We're learning how to manage transitions.
Yeah.
And so now you have to put yourself as you being recreated all over again, just like it's almost like you become Adam all over again.
Yeah.
But instead of operating from the first Adam, you have to operate from the last Adam, which is Christ. So now Christ have given you the blueprint on how to walk back into your kingship or that place of paradise. So now you're kind of put back in the place of Adam again, to where, okay, Adam, in order for you to get this place, okay, Mike, in order for you to get this place, okay, Boy One, in order for you to get this place, okay, Alex, in order for you to get this place, you can do all of this stuff right here, but you can't do this right here.
Yep.
So that means when in the midst of chaos, in the midst of me managing, man, I'm feeling a shift here. Man, I'm pulling a pull away here. Man, I'm feeling a drift here. Okay, Mike, you feeling the drift. You feeling the shift. Okay, that's great, but I need you to respond this way and not this way. So when you manage that, so that way on the other side you can get to where you need to get. But if not, you're gonna be like the children of Israel. You're gonna be wandering in a place for 40 years that only took a couple of days because you mismanaged that moment. And so while you're in your go through, and while you're in your transition, while you're in trying to start that business, try to mend your relationship, try to build stability within your children, while you're trying to do all this stuff that life requires us to do, how are you managing the moments? Are you still approachable in the moments? Can your spouse still come to you in a way where you're not going to bite their head off because you're in your emotions and your feelings about certain stuff? Once again, you're in that Adamic nature, because God says, through love and kindness have I drawn thee. So I don't need you to be frustrated with your wife. I don't need you to be frustrated with your husband. I don't need you to be frustrated with your children. This is what I need you. Yes, it may require some type of discipline, but here, the approach has to be different. So now you put back into that Adamic nature to where you can eat from any tree in this garden except for that one. So I need you to respond in this way and not that way. So what happens, once again, we go back into that Adamic nature, because every day we're given that choice. Once again, you're going to take the blue pill, you're going to take the red pill.
Choose your heart.
Because one of them going to lead you to a place. Both of them give you an experience.
Yep.
But you want to take the one that's going to give you an experience that's going to lead you to your purpose quicker.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But how you get there is how you manage the in-between, how you manage that transition.
And when you think about the serpent and his influence of the fall of man,
Yeah.
it shows the importance of how he was able to influence mismanagement in their life that they never had to experience. Ever, because everything was already set, everything was already balanced. And it's crazy that you say you have to fight for it, because last week, mentally taxed, just mentally, just not checked out, but it's just like,
I had one of them days today.
you know what I'm saying? So, and it's funny, you said the same thing that I had to keep encouraging and speaking to myself.
Yeah.
Don't grow weary in well doing, for you
Shall
shall reap if you faint not.
Yeah.
And the last words of encouragement that added onto that was like, fight for your faith. Fight for your faith. Now, because we're in position, and it's like an inheritance. Just because it's given to you, you still have to figure out what can I do with this inheritance to keep this going. You still have to transition. You still have to navigate. You still have to fight. There's going to be opposition. Okay, boom. What are you going to do with this?
The B2S Podcast is brought to you by No Grind, No Glory Apparel, R828 edition. It's a reminder to stay strong, to be courageous, to starve your fears, and to feed your faith. Even when it feels like everything is falling apart, just know that you were born to stand out and make an impact. Head over exclusively to www.nogrindnoglory.net and grab you some merch as a daily reminder that all things work together.
I came across something here that is really dope, and it talks about the 4 P's of transition management. So I had came across this when you was talking about that earlier. And it says, while change management involves distinct individuals and roles, transition management requires teams and staff to grasp and derive value from the 4 P's. That's purpose, picture, plan, and part. Purpose. What is that? What does that look like in your life? How does that form with what are you good at? What do you feel God is calling you to? And when you figure that out, it's like there's a picture that you can foresee yourself in being something that you know you were meant to be, but you going through all this managing of the transitions. Then there's the plan. How we see the picture, we have our purpose, we see the picture. How can we formulate the plan to get to that?
Before you, let's, because this is a common thread. Let's tap this real quick. So, because a lot of people still trying to figure out what their purpose is. So, let me get y'all. So what's y'all take? Like, how does a person feel? How does one determine what their purpose is?
The one thing, you gotta listen. That's it. That's like listening. So in a men's group on Mondays, I lead a connect group. And I was talking to some of the bros on Monday, and I was just basically like, so in the book that we're reading, this week was talking about listening to your spouse, how to listen, active listening, dissecting what she's saying. Sometimes you may have to repeat certain parts of her sentence back to her, just to let her know, I hear what you're saying. How you act in your environment when you're listening to her. Why are you on the phone while she's telling you about her workday? Why is she on Instagram while she's talking to you about her workday? Make her put her phone down, right? Get the atmosphere and get the environment set so we can get out the real potency of communication, right? And when
intimacy.
you do that, you listen. Once you actively listen to someone, you don't. Most of the times, you don't have to guess how I came in the Dove's house when I was for a writing session. We went to a studio. I said, bro, and I'm not still 100%. My ticker's still trying to tick. You know what I mean? So I'm just managing the transition, right?
Facts.
Because
You did well.
right, because I'm not new to this. I'm true to it. You know what I mean? So I said, bro, this is where I'm at. This is what I can do for today. And for any other track that's on the EP, I will try my hardest to and to give you the best that I can give you. And if anything that comes out of me is not acceptable for your project, please take it off and find somebody who can get it done. And he was like, bro, I'm glad you told me that. He said, because you're not here to carry the whole load anyway. But thank you for letting me know where you're at. And the key thing that he said, so I can know how I can serve you outside of the studio. You know what I mean? So listening, bro, if you listen efficiently enough, you will learn what you need to do.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying? Like you sometimes we don't know what we need to look. Bro, I came across this, bro. Luke chapter 10, verses 38 through 42. And it says, now it came to pass as they went that he entered into a certain village, talking about Jesus. And a certain woman named Martha received him into her house. And she had a sister called Mary, which also sat at Jesus' feet and heard his word. But Martha was cumbered. Cumbered means distracted, right? About much serving. And came to him and said, Lord, doest thou not care that my sister hath left me to serve alone? Bid means tell. So basically, tell her, therefore, that she should help me. And Jesus answered and said unto her, Martha, Martha, thou art careful or worried and troubled about many things. But one thing is needful. And Mary had chosen that good part, which should not be taken away. Either we're going to be Mary or Martha. Here's the thing, bro. Martha was trying to outperform her capacity. So she kept busy. Kept busy, kept doing. Mary was like, I know I need to get right. Let me sit down with the person who can help me perform better.
That's good. That's good.
That's real good.
Let me sit directly down and listen to the person who controls my performance.
That's good.
Martha was trying to cover up all the gaps, all the places that she knows she need to get right. So what we do, we try to outperform. We try to put on the good face. We try to people please. We try to, that don't help you get better. You actually trying to get better or act like you're good, that's not helping you get no better. You're not getting nowhere. You're getting burnt out like that. That's what you're doing. Mary was like, no, let me sit down so I can listen to the person. And guess what? Jesus said, I'm not finna take her away. So every time we side with Jesus, every time we side with listening to his word, every time we side with going with his principles, every time we side with him, he will always come between. Because he knows that we are choosing. He says she has chose the right thing. It's a choice.
Yeah.
It's a complete choice. So I think that's one of the things, bro, just that listening. Sometimes we don't listen, we distracted. We trying to outdo. Sometimes our circumstances are highly loud.
Yep.
Let's just be real about it.
We know that too well.
But look, when your car note due and your lights due, and you got a carton of eggs left in the refrigerator and half the meat gone, that right there sometimes is louder than faith. Everybody talking that faith ain't walking it.
Right.
Faith make you want to smack somebody when you got to put it to use. Because sometimes you do be on edge a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But just being able to listen. Sometimes we don't hear what we need.
Yeah.
She was sitting right there. I bet you she heard what she needed to hear to turn her life up, and Mary couldn't hear it because she wasn't sitting there. She wasn't sitting there.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, that's good. That's
Bro,
that can actually kind of connect with.
She was trying to outperform her capacity.
Yeah. That I was just saying with the young
Yeah.
after the engagement.
Yeah.
And because he was like, man, a lot of stuff you was talking about was like, that's where I've been for the last couple of weeks. And so it's like I really connected with the message. So it's like, how do you, I'm trying to find my purpose and I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with my life and blah, blah, blah. I say, well, here's the thing. I say, change your language first. I say, stop asking God, what is my purpose? And ask him to reveal my purpose. He said, because you can't find something that's already in you. I said, I learned that from my pastor. I say, because if something is locked up and there's a required password in order to unlock what you're trying to get, you can't get it unless you know the password. I say sometimes it's just a change of your language that blocks that answer because you're repetitiously asking God the same thing. I say, so change your verbiage, change your language. So once you understand what you want, you don't have to keep going to God for it. Just start thanking him for it. Thank you, I know what my purpose is. Thank you, I know what my purpose is. Just wake up every morning, thank you, I know what my purpose is. So I say, sometimes I say, just change your verbiage and see what happens. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's just changing that rudder just a little bit just to sail in the right direction. And so when you said listen, I was like, well, that connects right in there. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause it's like when you ask God something, no matter what it is, now it's time to listen to see what he says and see what the response is. Because it's like if I go to him and say, God, what's my purpose? And I never stop to sit at his feet and see if he's going to respond. Because when he don't respond in the time frame that I want him to respond, I go right back to him. God, what's my purpose? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there? Man, shut up.
Look like we're not. Shut up. Shut up.
So that listening portion, man, it plays a great intricate part in that revealing, that unveiling. Because what it is, an unveiling and a revealing, all it is, it's already there. It's just hidden. So when you ask him to reveal it to you, it's just an unveiling what's already there. And so you ain't got to find something that's already there.
Right.
And so once you begin to listen, you change your language, and then you manage the transition. You continue to move. It ain't for you to sit still or not do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Faith without works is dead. When he says, be still and see the salvation of the Lord, it don't mean you don't do nothing. At the end of the day, you don't do nothing out of your own self. I'm just fit to do this. Or you just like, and you got this nagging, like, I should be doing. But I need to do something. Like John Q.
Exactly.
Then you put yourself in an uncompromising situation. So, so I just wanted to tap in that real quick before we start going into the other P's, because a lot of that is a common question amongst us as a human race. Is like, man, what is my purpose? So that is definitely an important part when you're trying to manage yourself, when you know you're in a transition, and whether you know where you're going or you don't know where you're going, that's an important, intricate part. So you can go ahead.
It is, because you're trying to seek the outcome of what that is that you're searching for. So when you go to planning and you got to figure out the blueprint of what to do within that profession or that understanding or revealing of whatever that is. Yeah. And then you have a part. Okay, what's my part to play in all of this?
Right.
And then the people how can I manage this transition with what I'm doing and still adding people to it that will move and run accordingly in the same direction I'm going.
Right.
And I love it where it says change is a business perpetual companion. Continuously. It's inevitable. Yeah. It's a part. There's no separation. This is a part of the process. Yeah. This is, matter of fact, it's the common denominator.
Yeah. And that's why I always say, you master change, you master life, because life is all about change.
And it says it's unavoidable, but even though it's unavoidable, it's also essential for corporate evolution and expansion. But we have to be willing to go through the hard stuff. Yeah. We in the mud with the pig pens. When you think about the prodigal, he was sloppy, he was funky, he was like, man, look, This ain't it.
Yeah. And you have to be, you have to be true enough. I'm glad you brought that up because we're talking about management, right? So he mismanaged his inheritance. So we all know that an inheritance is something you received after the death of somebody. So he wanted his inheritance while his dad was still alive. And so he take it, and the Bible says he goes off and do riotous living. So which means he just basically mismanaged his resources. He mismanaged his funds. And so, but the thing of it is when he came to the knowledge of who he was, that's when he realized what he has access to. So when you lose your identity, you also lose what you have access to. Man, that's powerful.
That's powerful.
Because you got to understand, he was still a king's kid, even though he was in the mud, in the slop with the pigs. You have a person of royalty in a place with slop and pigs. Lost everything that was given to him. But once he acknowledged who he was and what was going on and what he did, when the light switch went on,
That's what you was talking about.
Yes.
when the light switch came on, he knew where to return. The key thing to that is when he acknowledged who he was and where he was. So you have to acknowledge who you are and where you are, because when you find yourself in a place of muck like he did, you have to go back and connect with the people that can help you out of that place.
For real.
You know what I'm saying?
For real. And that's the key, bro. When you say once he unlocked and realized, what you say? What's been revealed. He's like, hold on. This ain't it. This ain't what I'm supposed to
even
be.
the servants eat better than this.
Exactly. Like,
Even my daddy's servants eat better than what I was going. Man, let me get my butt.
I'm going home.
I'm going home. I'm going back home. I'm going back to the kingdom.
And you know what that also reset? But that's also saying, look, I'm going to humble myself. And I don't care what I got to go through.
Yep.
To be renewed, refreshed, and reset. I don't care. Because I done seen the worst of the worst. So it can only get better from here.
And that's how you got to look at it.
Yep, because now I'm going to listen to the one who gave me my inheritance in the first place. And now I have the opportunity to not only gain back what was already given to me, but I can double it now. Because there's a sense of responsibility that's attached to it that I'm willing to work out and manage.
Yeah. I want to slide a couple of these points in that I looked up. And it starts off by saying this right here. It says, managing transition involves effectively guiding individuals and organizations through change by addressing the psychological process of change. I like that. The psychological process, that's the mentality of how we respond to certain things. And that, which is what we've been talking about, right? One of the things, focusing on the internal emotional journey rather than, and this is go back to what you was talking about, the performance. It says focusing on the internal emotional journey rather than just the external implementation. And then it talks about this process here talks about the 3 phases of transition. Number 1 is ending. Says this phase involves letting go of the old ways, identities, and routines, and acknowledging the losses associated with change. That's good. I'm gonna start right there before I go to the other one.
That's real good.
But Blueprint Nation, this is what helped me. I'm just gonna share my experience. It's just like I'm gonna share something with y'all. So it's like, okay, I was real skinny growing up, right? Playing football. So back then, there's a lot of stuff that you could do back then that you can't do now. So back then they had this thing called bull in the ring. So that's basically where the whole team get into this big old circle. One guy goes into the middle, and you got to hit everybody that come at you. So it's like you can just be hitting one person after another, just pow pow, and just be wore out by the time you done. And so the biggest guy on the team, right? I'm talking about huge. This dude was huge, and I'm like, I said, man, coach he finna tap me. I said, I feel it. I feel it. Now why you gonna have me go hit this big old dude? I'm like 100 plus pounds, so soaking wet with rocks and the chain tied around my neck. I'm talking, he got to be about 250, 300. Easy. I'm like, man, this man like 3 times my weight. But I was like, man, he finna tap me. I was like, oh, shoot. Next thing you know, Mariner, go get him. And he tapped me on my helmet. I said, oh, shoot, I knew it coming. I strapped my helmet up. I said, all right, let's go get it. Well, I ran in there full speed, hard as I can. And I hit him. You're pow. Boy, it's like, timber. And I hit the ground. And I'm looking up at the sky. And, but here's the thing, though. I was happy because I was the smallest guy on the team. And out of everybody that hit him, I was the only one that moved him out of position. Because I gave him everything I had. When I hit it, you heard it. Oh, you heard it. You heard it. You heard. Trust me, you heard it. And I was on my back, flat, looking up at this guy. But I knew he moved because I could see it on my way down. It was like he did one of these right here, and I was like, man, I did my job because I wasn't even supposed to do that. So, and I've shared that experience with y'all because over the years, as I've gotten older and got involved in different things, I realized that change is inevitable, number one, and number two, loss is associated with change. And so it's in that same situation, it's like, okay, Mike, he done tapped me. I got to. I can't not do it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can, but it's just like, that's like committing suicide in sports, you know? So it's like, I had to psych myself out to go do what I had to do. So it's like, I know loss is coming. I don't know where it's coming. I don't know how it's coming. But as long as I know that it's coming, then now my mind is prepared that when it happens, I'm not catastrophically, you know what I'm saying, checking out. So it's like, oh, I didn't expect it that way, but at least I knew it was coming. And so that actually softens the blow. Right. So what helped me soften the blow of that is like, you were supposed to do that. I wasn't supposed to move you. You shouldn't have moved like that.
A brick wall.
So you know, it should have been like you standing there and me go. So I found something positive in a negative situation. So what can be abstracted out of the loss that can transform you into the person that you are becoming in the midst of the transition on your way to the transitional place?
Facts.
You feel me? So if you already prepare yourself, like I always said, I got this from John. I want to say I think John Maxwell, and I could be quoting it wrong, but as long as I learn, I never lose. So as long as I learn from a loss, I never take an L because I'm winning just because of the simple fact that I learned in the midst of the loss. So when I train my mind to think like that, not Albert Einstein, but Thomas Edison, when I trained my mind to think like that, because it took him 1,000 times to create the light bulb, and when he was approached by a reporter, the reporter asked him, how does it feel to fail 1,000 times? I didn't fail 1,000 times. It was just it just took me 1,000 steps to create the light bulb. It was a creation of 1,000 steps. That was his perspective. He could have just, oh man, dang, I did fail 1,000 times. No, man, he caught that. Boom, shifted perspective. No, it was a creation of 1,000 steps. I didn't fail 1,000 times, and that's how you got to see it, man. That relationship didn't work out. What did you learn from that? That job didn't work out. What did you learn from that? That business didn't work out. What did you learn from that? Because when you pull the curtain back, all of us can learn something, but we got to go right back to what I had talked about when we talked about the prodigal son. He had to acknowledge where he was.
That's huge.
And if you don't acknowledge where you missed it, guess what? You're going to miss it again. And guess what? What's going to happen? You're never going to get to the next level until you pass the test. So you'll keep taking the same test until you pass it, and God will allow that gate to open. And you're going to be like the children of Israel. You're going to be wandering out in your wilderness for 40 years on a few days' journey because you failed to acknowledge where the loss was. And so you keep answering the same question wrong. You ever did that, bro? I did that. It got me frustrated.
Get irritated.
Like, dang, I got the same question wrong. Like, God dog it. I can't, my grade ain't gonna change because I keep answering the same question wrong.
Exactly.
And until I get it right, I won't pass. So you'll be stuck on the same level. So you'll be in a transition like the Twilight Zone. You just stuck there, don't know where you're going. And that's what we don't want. That's what we don't want.
At all.
Yeah. So you got the ending place, and then you got the neutral zone. The neutral zone this is a period of uncertainty and ambiguity where the old is gone, but the new is not yet fully established, requiring flexibility and adaptability.
That's good.
Always got to be flexible. You got to be flexible. Then the last one, of course, is new beginning. This phase involves embracing the new ways, developing new identities, and moving forward with renewed energy and purpose, which goes back to pretty much
Full circle.
Full circle.
Full circle moment.
Yeah.
Bro, I think about over the course of the years of one of the biggest things that if we're not careful, we'll allow ourselves not to be teachable. We'll put ourselves in a place of difficulty that ain't even got to be presented.
Right.
If you forthright, if you're willing, like you say, you're willing to listen, you'll get a lot. Trust me, you will.
Right.
Because it's just like when you think about even what things people tell me and my experiences, it's like, bro, you thought about being comedy? It's like, just put me in a movie, let me do my thing, I'm cool. Stand-up comedian, I respect the craft too much. I ain't got that kind of time just yet. Right. But I'm willing to move towards something that I'm listening and taking heed to, so that way it can perfect the craft. So when that time comes, hey, can you? Sure. You know what I mean? So it's just flexibility. What is the one thing? And it's crazy because I was talking to a group, and I was like, what is the thing that you're willing to do that you keep running from? Because the very thing you're running from could be the very thing that can open and give you what you need, and get you on the road to your destination. God has given us everything we need. He's given us the ability to create wealth with these two hands in his mind. And the ambition, the drive, the heart, and the willingness to do it. It's a recipe. You got to be willing to stir the pot, though. You got to be willing to mix those ingredients. And not all of them are all good. You know what I'm saying? You look at banana pudding. You know, they use old bananas. You know, the closer it is to like on its way out, the better the banana pudding is. For some people, it just depends on your preferences. But for me, I like it. The older it is, it just tastes that much more better for me. That whatever.
Okay, Emil, like his bananas like. Once that black starts showing, toast.
I don't like them like that. Nah, I don't want no black, cause I cut around the black. But it's just understanding and working with what you got and be willing to work that what you do have, and continue to expound on it. Continue to, like you say, how can we redo this and make it better? How can we ain't got to reinvent the wheel. Nice. We just keep tweaking, keep tweaking. Oh, this worked. This didn't work, so this got to come out. So what can I put in place of that? Why did that not work? And you just go down this search, seek why he may be found. And seeking him, you'll find the answer. I promise you will. You just got, like you say, you just got to be willing to listen.
Yeah, and the flexibility part, it reminds me, I always say, you know, if you stretch a rubber band out past its capacity, it's impossible for it to go back to its original shape. So once you're stretched, once you become flexible, you cannot go back to that traditional stiff state that you were in before. Before you learned how to be flexible. So once you get into a place of flexibility, you have to keep that open mind. You have to keep that process open, because when God gets ready to shift you at any given moment, you got to be ready and adaptable. And that's what I told the kids. One of the things I share with the kids is if you don't remember anything I say from this message on today, remember this right here. As you get ready to go out to the real world, that I would say probably your most valuable asset is your ability to be adaptable to any situation, because that puts you in demand. That means you can get tossed into any situation and you can get it done. I say, even if you get tossed from your job, because you're able to adapt, you can be like a cat and land on your feet. May start a business, that may be something, but your ability to pivot and be adaptable. I said that's gonna be I said, because of where the world is right now, I say that's gonna be your most valuable asset. You being able to pivot and be adaptable to any situation. I think that's gonna be your secret to success, because the world is just full of change. I said that's why AI is replacing humans right now. Because the human race has gotten complacent in being average. So, okay, you want to be an average? Okay. You want $20 an hour to flip a hamburger? Okay. I'll put this robot in your place. They ain't going to complain. They ain't going to gripe. You want $20 an hour and you still got my order wrong.
You don't even listen. You don't even listen.
You want $20 an hour and my food's still cold and I got to circle back. You want $20 an hour and food is missing out of my bag.
You want $20 an hour, but you don't listen.
Right.
I gotta repeat myself 5-6 times. No, I don't want that. You telling me what I want, but you want $20 an hour. Sorry, I just got triggered.
Nah.
Happened in real time. It's like, come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. Food cold, flat. Food missing out the bag. I get halfway down the road. They know I ain't coming back.
So in the long run, man, it's about just managing yourself, managing the chaos around you, and at the end of the day, we understand that you're managing it to the best of your ability. But understand this: when you manage something or when you do anything the best of your ability, that's your best in that moment. Because if you're progressing and you're growing and you're learning, guess what? Your best is going to supersede that best.
Yep.
And then that best is going to supersede the last best, because you're progressively growing.
Every time.
So, just give yourself some grace. If you do, I'm doing the best I can. Exactly. You're doing the best that you can in the moment. But in the moment and in the midst of the transition, you got to keep refueling the tank. You got to be reading. You got to be staying ahead of the curve, especially with things that are going on right now. There's a lot of pivots going on. There's not to push the panic button. There's to push the prepare button. How am I going to prepare for the uncertainty of the things that's going on right now? This is where we need to be focused. This is not the time to push the panic button. This is the time to push the prepare button. And just like I said, when it's time to perform, it's too late to prepare. So that's all I got for tonight. Y'all got anything else before we ride up out of here, fellas?
I'm gonna say this right here too. And I don't know if this is an angel's advocate thing or not, but while you're managing the transitions and while you're in transition, it's active, right? So the people who you're connected to, your job, your coworkers, your family, your spouse, your producers, your little league trainee, trainer, your coach, whoever it is, they're not where you are. They're not in your skin. They're not in your life. They're not waking up next to you. Like, they're not there, right? You're in your skin, you're in your DNA, you're in your time that God have allowed you to be in. So those people who you're connected to, if there's a relationship there, whatever, however you're connected to that relationship, 10 times out of 10, you still have an obligation or a demand to fulfill whatever need that's there.
Right.
So let that be known. So if you are shifting and if you're in transition, the person who you're in a relationship with or whatever status that it is, they are still going to have their hand out. They're still going to have their spoon out. They're still going to have their helmet out for you to meet that need. So if you're shifting in a different place, in a different area, it is 1,000% okay for you to protect where you're going.
That's good.
Yeah.
So if you can't, so if let's say 6 months ago, you would allow your homie to speak to you a certain type of way, but where you're going is certain things that he can't say to you, it's okay for you to have that real bro convo, bro. No, we can't do that, bro. We can't do that. Like it's okay for you to hold those around you to the same standard that you've been held to. That's okay. Because you're in transition. Because where you're going, I'm pretty sure God gonna have you in a certain atmosphere to where you can't be slacking. So therefore, you can't allow other people to feed you slack either.
Exactly.
Right.
So it's okay to protect where you going. And bro, 35 times out of 5, when it's their turn, they don't like it.
Right.
They don't like it.
You ain't never lied.
When it's your turn to try to figure out what's wrong with me, you don't like that. They don't like it then. But when it's you doing the big dog thing, it's okay. But when I do it, no. It is it's okay to protect where you're going, to let those around you know, no, we can't do that. It's okay to shut your mouth and just move. It's okay. But just know that those people who are in your life who you connected to, you still have to fulfill certain obligations. So you have to keep that thing flowing with them. But just know if it's something that's not aligned up to where you're going, it's okay to protect where you're going. You don't have to take nothing from anything.
That's good.
That's real.
I think that's something people need to know. Especially people who working with people. It could be a football coach. Pee-wee football costs money. Travel ball costs money. Private coaches, bro, they cost, bro. If you want to get better, it costs to be the boss. Like you have to put up. Even with spiritual things, spiritual gifts. If you want to get closer to God, it's going to cost you. It's going to cost your time. You might have to invest in a new study Bible, some friendships. Something got to give, right? So if you're working with somebody, and let's say the trainer, he looking out for you, you ain't got to pay him, but you're growing. But just because you're not paying them, doesn't mean you got to take certain things. I'm just saying, like, it's okay, but nah, bro, we can't do that. So protect where you're going and don't let nobody own you. Period.
Straight like that.
Straight like that. Hey, take those nuggets and put those gems to work. So, once again, man, it's important how you manage the transition because it's going to determine how and when you get out. So we want to make sure we manage those right. And make sure we surround ourselves with the support system that's going to help manage the transition because it's easier to carry weight when you have more than one person helping you. So y'all know how we like to get up out of here, man. Brave Blueprint Nation, we appreciate y'all. We love y'all.
Yeah.
So shoot for the top because the bottom is way too crowded. And if you think different and be different, you have the opportunity to live different. And once again, we'll see you on the other side of success. Hey, we'll see y'all next week. Peace.